moment in history. To you. The week prior, Manny had cornered me in the men's room and talked at length about the Balfour Declaration. I hadn't understood his point, but he leaned against the door and I'd felt trapped. "Huh," I said. "I'm not sure, Manny." "To me, the Balfour Treaty is the most important. Did you look it up?" "Not yet. I've been pretty swamped." "It had a big impact on global history." "I do think I learned about it in school." "Nah," he said. "You can't learn nothing about it in school. You know what I mean?" "It's one of those things you know you've heard of." "You have to do your own research. Look into the Rothschilds. Follow the money." "Okay, I will." "Nice." He appraised me carefully. "Let me know. I'm curious how you think is all." Then he dropped his left foot and angled away, opening a channel where I might pass. He extended his right hand, leaving the pinky and ring fingers curled tightly into his palm, and grinned down at me as I took it. It was dark on the 14th floor, all the monitors black and cold. One other person had come in, though. Shel Bunting. He sat craned over his computer in the corner by the window. I might have been glad to have him there to help with Manny, but something had always seemed the matter with Shel. In meetings, he hardly ever looked up. He just focused on the table. His face was pale in some spots, blotchy red in others. On his forehead or under one eye or across his throat. No one really knew him, but I sensed a hidden reserve of strangeness in Shel. I'd always felt he needed looking at, and as I crossed the floor, I stared into my phone to preempt any possibility of eye contact. I dropped my bag, put my coat on the chair, sat and swiveled so neither Manny nor Shel was in my line of sight, and took out my laptop, running my fingers along the deformed place where the battery had swollen. A note from Lisa, our manager, still sat near the top of my inbox. "Stay warm. See you back at the office on Thursday." But just above it was the one Manny had mentioned, from truthflex00-09@gmail.com. "Lisa Horowitz is a cultural Marxist. White genocide." For 6 weeks now, we'd been receiving the emails, and still no one knew who sent them. It was a mystery. We weren't supposed to open anything from TruthFlex, but I couldn't help it. I always clicked. If TruthFlex posed a threat to me, I wanted to understand it. We all knew someone who knew someone at Ranter. Anyway, the emails were largely indecipherable, weird screeds in shifting fonts. Sometimes there were YouTube links, "White pride is healthy and moral," and 100 fake hate crimes staged by demic rat leftists. Nearly all the emails targeted Lisa by name, and the first had arrived just after she'd signed us up for mandatory diversity workshops. So, of course, we wondered if TruthFlex might be one of us. But as far as we knew, there weren't even any Republicans in the office, much less far-right fringe types. It was a small analytics firm. Everyone was well-educated, and at 38, I was one of the oldest employees in my department. Anyway, the police had said TruthFlex might well be no one in particular, someone who'd burbled up from the deep for reasons obscure, or else a bot, even. It happened all the time, evidently. The IT people blocked each new TruthFlex address. That didn't matter. They couldn't prevent us from receiving emails, and the police said there wasn't much they could do until TruthFlex made an actual threat. Besides, management reminded us we had Manny to keep us safe. Before the first lockdown drill, we were told to brainstorm all the objects within reach that might stop a bullet. I kept coming back to the windows. If I could get out to the other side of them somehow. Somewhere behind me, Shel sneezed. I looked at my phone. It wasn't even 10 o'clock. I decided to text Brett. "LMK if power comes back?" But he rarely woke before 1. Brad was a Craigslist roommate, still in his 20s. He'd moved in after my divorce. I tried never to text him. Each new message exhumed the preceding, laying bare the bleak business of our lives together. Today's stood beside one from December 19th. "Hey man, I'm sorry, but that's too loud."